Please remain standing as I call upon the Vice President of the Class of 2014, Ben Murphy, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag happens to be in the parking lot. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing as Senior Megan Martin sings the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Marshals, you may now seat the senior class. Everyone else may be seated as well. Once again, good evening, and welcome to the commencement ceremony for the Monson High School class of 2014. My name is Dr. Andrew Linkenhoker, the principal here at Monson High School, and these lovely seniors to my left. Before I continue, I want to acknowledge several special guests in attendance this evening. Thank you to the school committee members, Mrs. Carla Gartzu, Mr. Peter Soriel, Mr. Jeffrey Lord, and sitting behind me, the school committee chairman, Mr. Joshua Farber. We welcome the Monson Selectmen in attendance, Dr. Richard Smith, who's also double dipping as a parent. In addition to Mr. Farber, sitting behind me is the Monson Public Schools Superintendent, Mrs. Cheryl Clarke, and the Monson High School Assistant Principal, Mr. Robert Siciliano. A warm thank you goes out to our two senior class advisors, Mrs. Jill Fallis and Mrs. Maria Maloney. Your leadership and support ensured the class of 2014 benefited from an enriching high school experience with memories that will last a lifetime. In addition, I want to recognize our graduation ceremony advisor, Mr. Robert Bardwell. Your organization and guidance helped ensure tonight's program is memorable for everyone in attendance. Thank you to Mr. Andy Kozakowski for helping our student speakers prepare for this evening's spotlight. Thank you to Mr. Don Smith, Mr. Bruce Gross, and the entire custodial staff in setting up this graduation venue, and to the Monson Park and Rec Department, specifically Mr. Tim Pascal, Mr. Steve Gordon, and Mr. Dennis Vacon, for preparing this field and painting the M on the hill. I want to acknowledge the faculty and the staff in attendance this evening. You created the educational foundation these graduating seniors will build from as they begin the next chapter of their lives. You should be proud that your hard work and dedication paid off. And finally, I want to welcome all the parents, the family, the friends, and the community members in attendance tonight. I have reinforced with this class that while we're here celebrating them tonight, this evening is for you. This is your opportunity to pat yourself on the back. It is not easy raising children today, and you successfully taught your children the necessary lessons in life and guided them to where they are today. Without you, we would not be here this evening. Monday evening was a lovely senior banquet held at the Public House in Sturbridge. As has become the tradition, the class played a senior video after dinner. Standing in the back, in viewing the various photos coming across the screen made me reminisce a little bit. Photographs of babies and elementary school age boys and girls made me think about my own two children, Allie and AJ. Admittedly, a couple tears swelled up as the notion that before long, Allie and AJ would be experiencing their own senior banquet and viewing the old baby pictures and school candids. Later that evening, I was lying in bed and reflecting on the banquet and that video. Why was it so emotional for me? It finally dawned on me that one's life is built on many individual memories sewn together, creating a fabric of interlocking memories that we call a life story. The seniors to my left spent the last 4 years walking the halls of Monson High School, sitting in various classes and completing required assignments. Some became active in clubs, in activities, in athletics, while others secured outside employment and fulfilled family obligations. These graduates sit beside me this evening, ready to look forward, but must reflect back on past memories that help script this story and prepare these students for the real world. After tonight, 85% of these graduates plan on pursuing a post-secondary education. 13% are entering the workforce, while the remaining 2% have other plans, including protecting this cherished nation. These post-high school plans all stem from those memories that began after birth. As you begin taking responsibility for your lives, seniors, and creating new memories, I ask that you always remember the 3 F's: family, fun, and financials. Success is often linked to these 3 F's, a big change from the F's you tried avoiding throughout high school. How you prioritize these 3 F's will shape who you are as a person, what your priorities are, and ultimately how you're judged at life's end. Family. In my humble opinion, your top priority should always be family comes first. People say you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. I read a message on Facebook last week that talked about mothers and their relationship with their children. Throughout childhood and adolescence, children work hard to get their mothers off their back. It's not until adulthood that we realize our mothers are the only ones that have our back. For those who think fun or financials should be a higher priority than family, I ask you, who will be cheering you on when you get that first job or that important promotion? Who will be there when you lose that important job? Who will be there remembering you at life's end? Your career is important. It helps pay the bills and allows us to enjoy life. However, we can always be replaced at work, but our role as fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters can never be replaced. Respect your family. Spend time with your family. Live for your family. By doing so, you'll remain grounded, supported, and will have the energy to drive to accomplish your goals. For tonight's history lesson, what happened on this day 70 years ago? D-Day, thank you. Many of you have had fathers, grandfathers, or great-grandfathers involved in this vital moment in history. 70 years ago, today, the Allied forces landed on the beaches of Normandy and began a wave that forever changed the course of World War II. I would like to take a moment and reflect on those brave young men, many not much older than you, that sacrificed their lives on D-Day so we can enjoy the freedom we take for granted today. Thank you. The next F, fun. We're only on Earth for a short time. When we take ourselves too seriously and solely focus on work and duties, we often fail to realize we must take time to celebrate the life, our family, and our friends. Graduates, as you enter college, the workforce, or the military, remember to hit the pause button every once in a while. Many times, the memories that last a lifetime aren't those from our daily work routines. Our memories are often of holidays, family vacations, last-minute picnics, or even movie nights. When I was a guidance counselor working with students suffering from anxiety or other stressful situations, I would describe people as volcanoes. For tonight's science lesson, what happens to a volcano when there is no opportunity to vent that internal pressure building up inside its core? There's an eruption. When that eruption occurs, the landscape is decimated and loss of life is possible. However, if the volcano is allowed to constantly vent, then there is no threat for eruption. As people, we need to find a method of venting that works for us. Some people turn to faith. Others turn to physical fitness. Others turn to reading and writing. Some may turn to music while others reflect by taking a drive through the mountains. If we fail to identify the method that best suits us to release our stress and anxiety, then the result is often detrimental to our family, our friends, and our career. Find time to have fun. Find time to read that story or go on vacation. And finally, financials. Yes, graduates, you've been asked countless times what you want to do when you grow up. As a child, you often responded with dreams of becoming a doctor, an astronaut, a firefighter, or even a teacher. Perhaps you wanted to follow in your parents' footsteps and pursue their own career path. As the years went on and your strengths identified, you honed your goals. Now, as you sit here this evening, you're embarking on a journey to reach those goals. As you begin this journey, I ask you to ponder this. For years, people often chose a career based on where they lived and what socioeconomic status they identified with. If there happened to be a factory in your community, chances are you ended up working in that factory for the next 20 years. If you met a new person, you'd always identify yourself as, hello, I'm Andy Linkenhoker, and I'm the principal at Monson High School. Before you simply take a job because it's in your community or you identify yourself as your occupation, take time and reflect on who you are as a person. What do you like doing? What are your dreams for a family? Once you figure out who you are as a person and what your dreams are, find a career that will support those dreams. If you want to travel, find a career that requires traveling. If you want to spend quality time with your family, find a career that minimizes evening and weekend hours. I also encourage you to identify yourself as, hello, I'm Andy Linkenhoker, the proud husband of Carrie and father of Allie and AJ. My charge for all the graduates is to challenge yourself and experience new things and create new memories. According to Wikipedia, muscle memory is when a movement is repeated over time. A long-term muscle memory is created for that task, eventually allowing it to be performed without conscious effort. This repeated action, not requiring conscious effort, is great for such things as athletics, getting dressed in the morning, personal hygiene, and other ordinary tasks around the house. However, what happens if your life becomes one constant muscle memory? What happens if you cannot remember what you did yesterday because you simply went through life in the daily normal routines? Life is too short to live for tomorrow. Memories are never created through tomorrow's events, nor are they created from past experiences. Memories come from the present. Live for the moment and challenge yourself to try new things. Every graduate here has the basic knowledge and skills to become productive citizens in this 21st century. What you do with these skills and knowledge is now up to you. When your class reunites in 10 years, what will those memories be? How about 20 years? 50 years? I will have fond memories of this class and look forward to watching your paths lead you to wonderful places around this globe. As you embark on this new path, I just plead that you never forget those Monson memories. Always remember where you came from. Remain grounded and appreciate those parents, those teachers in the community that provide you the memories and the experiences that will allow you to excel in this life. Congratulations, class of 2014. You made it to this point. Enjoy the moment tonight. Celebrate and have a great time. You deserve all the attention for all your hard work. Thank you for the memories over the past 4 years. I will never forget any of you. Take care. Now at this time, I would like to call upon Robert Thorpe II, who will offer his salutatory with essay. As Robert approaches the podium, Mrs. Silciano will present him with his salutatory medal.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you all here. So, before I begin with my long, drawn-out, reminiscent, and slightly narcissistic spiel that's expected of a graduation speaker, I'd like to just say that I have no clue what I'm doing up here or why I'm even up here. I'm not a professional speaker or a motivational speaker. I just ended up having a high GPA. So, if at any point, I'll get that later. If at any point I lose my train of thought or something happens like my medal falls off, Could y'all just give a round of applause to cover my lapse? Okay, so to begin, it's traditional of graduation speakers to thank a bunch of people, so I figured I'd get that out of the way at the start so it doesn't, get in the way when I try to impress some big, meaningful message on you all. So I'd like to thank, this is tough, my arms for always being at my side, my legs for always holding me up these past couple years, my fingers, because I could always count on them, even during the non-calculator section of the AP Calculus test. I'd like to thank the Academy, and I'd also like to thank the street, the sidewalk, for keeping me off the street all these years. Okay, all jokes aside though, I'd like to start by thanking the teachers. They've been here for us these past 4 years, and it would have been impossible to make it through high school without you guys. So, can we hear it for the teachers? And all right, I promised myself I wouldn't thank any teachers in specific really, but because it would really take me a while to thank all the wonderful teachers who've helped me and everyone else, but I need to thank Mr. K for being my English teacher, teaching me to write, and making sure I said what it is that I wanted to say in this speech. So, thank you, Mr. K. I would like to thank the school committee for filling up all my Wednesdays. It was really great speaking with you all and getting to know you all these past year. I'd like to thank the maintenance workers. They've always had a smile for me and everyone else, even like really early on Mondays, which is kind of hard to get a smile for. I'd like to thank the cafeteria workers for always preparing great meals for everyone, even if we couldn't always agree on the pricing. I'd like to thank the administrative team for keeping everything running smoothly, even if the bell schedule wasn't running right. I'd like to thank guidance. They've kept me from getting lost these past couple years and always shown me the way. I'd like to thank the bus drivers, especially Route 11 bus driver Denise, for getting myself and so many other students here on time every morning. They have to get up like earlier than we do, so thank you. And finally, I'd like to thank my mother. Hi, Mom. She has put up with a really hectic schedule this past 4 years of school, debate, theater, and so many other things I've had to wake her up at like 5 o'clock for. So, thank you. All right, now that we have the thanks out of the way, I'm going to impart upon you all some words of wisdom. Are you guys ready? Comfortable? Okay, here we go. High school, the final frontier, right? Not quite. Finishing high school is a huge accomplishment, and we all should be patting ourselves on the back for that. But we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves, because while graduating is a great accomplishment, it's not the only thing that you should take away from high school. I have one more thing that I want you all, not just the graduates, but everyone here to think about. One more thing that we all need a reminder of from time to time. When I sat down to write this speech, I had an awful time trying to decide what it was after 4 years I wanted to tell you all that I learned in high school. But slowly, it began to dawn on me that there was one thing that I thought everyone should think about here, and that is to live each day like it's a brand new adventure. I could go on for hours and hours talking about this and relating to you stories I've had that tie back into this theme. Like this one time, I was down in downtown Boston around 3 a.m. in the morning and I was talking to 2 drunks. But I don't want to keep anyone here too long by telling this story, so I'm just going to re-emphasize my point. Live each day the best that you can. Now, I don't mean wake up in the morning and get, like, turned up. I mean, make the most of everything. Read that book you never got around to reading. Cook something new. Sign up for that class at the Y you've been wanting to take. Make a new friend. Say hello to all your old friends. Help an old lady cross the street, or just smile because you can smile. That's the best gift we all have. We can give each other smiles. So remember, you only live once. So don't waste a day that you have or the days that you could have by doing something really dumb you're gonna regret. And finally, I'd like to mention 2 more things I want you to take away. Like, if you didn't listen to all of the rest that I said, I just want you guys to take away these 2 things. 1 is Oprah. And 2 is you don't need a beer to have a good time. Thank you. Got it.
Sorry, Audrey, you have to follow that. Audrey Bowen will now present her honors address.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the Superintendent of Schools, Mrs. Clarke, for being here this evening. I'd also like to thank Principal Dr. Linkenhoker and other members of the school committee, along with our family and friends, for being able to make it out tonight. I am frantic. I stand before you to represent my senior class, the class of 2014, and we are more than I can even put into words. But we made it. We are fearless, and we're graduating, no longer seniors after today. We'll be the adults that you all are, or that you all will be. We are not fazed. They're big shoes to fill, large wings to grow into, but we are prepared and we will make you proud. We will make ourselves proud. I remember sitting on the bus when I was 6 years old, talking to some 4th graders. They seemed so big to me. Big? I mean, they were 10 years old. But then, everything's big when you're 6. The lockers are big enough to fit 2 students in them. The teachers are scary when they're upset. And the list of school supplies you need is longer than you are tall. And don't even get me started about that floating ladder they called the monkey bars. You didn't dare fall from those unless you wanted to take a trip to the nurse's office. But now, 12 years later, everything seems so small. We realize now more than ever that we attend a small high school and live in a small town where your best friend is probably your cousin and your teacher went to school with your mother. I think it's awesome that we've shared so many memories together as a small group of students. Remember that time we played a giant game of leapfrog around the track in 8th grade? Or how it managed to rain every time we went to High Meadows? Our favorite days were snow days, and our favorite hours were the ones we spent watching movies in class. We had Cat's Cradle, Tech Decks, and Hacky Sacks. We had Smencils, bendy rulers, and Lisa Frank notebooks. We had excuses, emotions, and absences. We had acquaintances. We made friends. We created families. These are the memories we may forget from time to time, but the ones we'll always return to as adults. Class reunions might not be as awkward thanks to Facebook, but we'll also have something to talk about when we see each other. And even if you move far away from here, to a big city that lights up the whole horizon at night, or to another country that is awake while Monson sleeps, you'll never forget this small town school with all the friends you made. You made these friends because, yeah, you were forced to, but also because you wanted to. Your Monson friends are the ones with the same taste in music as you, with a few exceptions, including myself. Your Monson friends are the ones who had your back at every track meet or basketball game. Your Monson friends are the ones who, despite always having a full lunchbox, somehow managed to empty the entire thing, as well as your wallet, in a matter of 10 minutes. This town is small, and Monson High School is even smaller, but the world outside this place is endless. You'll make new friends out there in what we like to call the real world, but you'll never forget your Monson friends, especially not when they're related to you. I got in trouble in kindergarten. I was playing house with 2 of my classmates, and one of them decided to play the part of a wild animal. So while I cooked my fake dinner on my fake stove, my rabies-infested raccoon of a friend was breaking down the fake door to my fake house. What would you do in this situation? If it were real, that is. I followed my resourcefulness. With my tray of fake food already in hands, I had no other option but to launch it at the head of the ferociously fake beast that was rampaging through my fake kitchen. Now, I can see where that might get me into a little trouble. However, my teacher failed to recognize that I never actually hit my friend in the head. I was only pretending. Regardless, my fate was to wait out the rest of playtime in that dreaded corner of solitude called timeout. The next 15 minutes of watching my classmates play while I sat still were pure torture. But the worst part came after my time in the chair was up. My teacher, unaware of the true situation, made me explain to the entire class my mistake. I was humiliated. So what did I say? Rather than arguing with her about what had really happened, I told her and my classmates that I hit my friend in the head repeatedly with my plastic tray of fake food. I lied about doing something wrong. Now, I don't know about you, but isn't it usually the other way around? The kid does something wrong and then lies about it to avoid getting into trouble? Well, I was too shy at the age of 6 to stand up for myself. The significance is that now I can. The rest of elementary and middle school helped, but these last 4 years in high school really allowed me to step out of my timid little bubble. I'm not afraid of my teachers anymore. I'm friends with them. And concussion or not, I swear the answer is not, my classmates all turned out just fine. Some of you don't have to say goodbye just yet. Some of you will go off to the same college or stay in Monson a while longer. But to those of you that will be gone by the fall, take these memories with you. Because as much as you want to throw your cap into the air and graduate already, these are the days you'll miss in the coming years. This town is small. The world out there is vast. At times, it'll tower over you and you'll feel insignificant as if you're 6 years old again. But you're all strong enough to rise taller than any skyscraper and reach even higher for your dreams. We may have begged for snow days when the weather was perfectly fine, but the days we spent in school, rain or shine, are what led us to be where we are today. We might not all think that we're ready, or we might be so ready to leave that we can't sit still any longer. But what I've gathered in these last dozen years of school is this: we always find a way to figure everything out. I thought I'd die when I heard I was eligible to write a speech for graduation on top of my final projects for all of my classes. But this day is really important, and this is not an opportunity I would ever pass up. I managed to figure it all out, and I made it. We made it. It's all thanks to our family and faculty, you know? That little push from our parents or laugh from our siblings when times were getting tough really made a difference. I've had some of the best teachers of my lifetime just at Monson High. You're never forgotten in a classroom or left to fend for yourself. There's always someone there to throw sarcastic comments your way or tell you extended stories of their life before teaching. If you think those times are annoying now, you'll miss it in a few months. If you enjoy those little things now, it'll be even more difficult. But while I have the chance, I'd like to thank you all for being there along the way and for being here today as the Monson High School class of 2014 graduates. Finally. My peers never bullied me. My parents never grounded me. My teachers never sent me to detention. And even if they had, I'd make sure that I was still standing here today to relay this message. Never tread lightly. Go into everything with all the might you can muster up. Show your power and don't be afraid. You aren't just a teenager or a young adult. You're a person just like everybody else. Let your passions guide you. Let your mind fuel you. And let your strength prove that you're more than anyone would ever expect you to be. You're not small anymore. And there are huge opportunities out there just waiting for you to take them on. An old droog of mine once asked me what I was going to do with my life. I was stuck between two possibilities. I could be a princess, or I could be an artist. But I couldn't see myself being anything else. I chose artist. I'm curious as to what you've decided on. So I'll ask you the same question. What's it going to be then, eh? Thank you.
Please join me in recognizing the valedictorian of the Monson High School class of 2014, Katherine Sweeney. As Katie comes up here to give her valediction with essay, Mrs. Siciliano will present her with her valedictorian medal.
not going to mess too much with it. Okay. Teachers, students, administrators, friends, and family, and our distinguished guests, Principal Dr. Linkenhoker, Assistant Principal Mr. Robert Siciliano, and Superintendent Mrs. Cheryl Clarke. Thank you for being here today to celebrate with us on one of the most important days of our lives. 4 years ago, when we stepped foot in Monson High School for the first time as freshmen, we were nervous, we were awkward, and we genuinely believed that the seniors were mutant giants. We fell up the stairs a few times, collapsed under the weight of our grossly overstuffed backpacks, and sprinted to class because we were paranoid we'd be late. And when the final bell rang on that first day, we climbed onto the bus or into our mom's minivans, thinking the next 4 years were going to last an eternity. Now, seemingly a split second later, we're sitting on this stage waiting to receive our diplomas and facing a new chapter of our lives. Now, class of 2014, we have a decision to make. And I'm not referring to what we choose to do with our lives after high school. I'm talking about how we choose to live them. In the words of Henry David Thoreau, do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Will we walk the path which has been walked a million times before, the path that has been paved before us by a million other feet? Or will we venture from that beaten path and lead others in a new, unexplored direction? I see the potential on this stage. I see the future doctors, engineers, and nurses. I see the physical therapists, the teachers, and the distinguished members of the armed services. These young people that sit beside me are prepared for whatever comes their way. They are intelligent, passionate, driven, creative, and brave. If you have ever seen Audrey Bowen's incredible artwork, or watched Alan Provost break 4 school records in track, or heard Megan Martin beautifully sing the national anthem, which I know you have, you would agree that there is no group of young adults more talented and more well-rounded than Monson High School's class of 2014. My wish for you, class of 2014, as you walk off the stage and into new experiences in college, in the military, in the workforce, or wherever you end up, is that in everything you do, you stray from the average, the ordinary, the path most traveled, and forge your own way. Do not settle for good enough when you all can achieve greatness. And as you make new paths and lead others in new directions, remember Monson High School, the place at which your new path began. Audrey Hepburn once said, living is like tearing through a museum. Not until later do you really start absorbing what you saw, thinking about it, looking it up in a book, and remembering, because you can't take it all in at once. So when you get the chance to reminisce on our time here at Monson High School, remember the good times. Like that time we launched Hannah 20 feet in the air off the blob at Brownstone. Those multiple occasions on which Tootie cracked up over the intercom in the middle of reading us the morning announcements. The teammates who started off as friends, but became family throughout the duration of a season. The teachers who made learning fun and whose classes you were actually excited to go to. And last but not least, this night, the night we crossed the stage and took our last steps as seniors of Monson High School. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to all the teachers, staff, and administrators and students of Monson High School for making our time here memorable and for teaching us the values of leadership, hard work, and dedication. Congratulations, class of 2014. We did it.
Now, I welcome the Superintendent of the Monson Public Schools, Mrs. Cheryl Clarke, to share some thoughts with the class of 2014. At the conclusion of Mrs. Clarke's congratulatory comments, she will lead the graduates in the presentation of diplomas. Joining me in that receiving line will be Mr. Siciliano, Mr. Farber, Mrs. Fallis, and Mrs. Melanie.
Good evening, everyone. It is a true honor to be here tonight. Congratulations to all of our graduates and their families. You have worked so hard, and I am so, so proud of you. Before I go on, I don't know if everyone is aware, but Dr. Linkenhoker is moving on to another opportunity next year. I would like to thank him for all he has done for the students and families of Monson. He is a Monson guy through and through, and proof of how a Monson High education can be the foundation for success. I also would like to thank Mr. Siciliano for his support of the students. He is leaving for a position closer to home. He spent nearly 3 hours on the road every day going back and forth to school, and even though he lives in another part of the state, he has Monson in his heart. It has been a pleasure to work with you both, and we wish you nothing but the very best as you move on to the next chapter of your lives. Thank you. Four years ago, as the new principal of Granite Valley Middle School, I spoke to most of you during the send-off ceremony before you went on to Monson High. Now here I am as the new superintendent, sending you off into the world. I have had the privilege of knowing most of you for 8 years. I remember you as fourth graders touring GVMS, unsure of what was ahead. I remember you as eighth graders, walking down the aisles of the auditorium for the last time. And I remember everything in between. I have had the unique opportunity of watching you grow and change into the young adults you are today. I know that many who speak during commencement addresses tell you to dream big, reach for the stars, visualize your goals. And of course, those are all very important. But my message today is a simple one. Take care of each other. Be kind. This is a crazy world, and as you navigate through it, take time to be good. Anyone who has sat in your place tonight, who has accomplished something meaningful, had at least one person who believed in him or her, and who treated them with kindness. Be that person to someone else. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture or something sensational. Stand up for things that matter. Our district theme for this year was a new chapter, and this theme is, of course, very fitting for this occasion, as you are all heading off to begin a new chapter for yourselves. This chapter will be filled with adventure, challenge, maybe a bit of heartbreak, but it will be the one that sets the stage for your transition to adulthood and independence. How will your chapter read? What will it tell us about you? Will kindness and love be a part of your story? What will be important to you? Think about those questions on page 1. Don't wait. Remember that what gives us meaning and makes us who we are is not the fancy stuff. It's what's in our hearts. So share your heart with the world, and you can never go wrong. Thank you. Dr. Linkenhoker, I attest that these students have met all of the local and state graduation requirements. Brendan Anthony Lloyd. Karen Lynn Kubaska. Congratulations. Jason Robert Hamm. Luke Michael Gonyea. Lindsey Nicole Duby. Kimberly Lynn Crescentini. Brien Arthur Couture. Liam Dean Christian. Thomas Arlington Brown IV. Katherine Ellen Murphy. Rachel Lillie Gordon. Thomas Benjamin Murphy. Melanie Ann Griswold. Audrey Mikaela Bowen.
Love you, Audrey.
Robert Alonzo Thorpe II. Catherine Taylor Sweeney. Waylon Taylor Garcia. Allison Elizabeth Fischetti. Nicole Renee Estridge. Mikaela Katherine Dolan. Gabriel Page Cullinane. Emily Heather Clarke. Right. Christopher Michael Carr. Gabrielle Marie Cardano. Abigail Elizabeth Burson. Rachel Kate Buck. Rebecca Biancardi. Brianna Marie Bertrand. Madison Joanna Ashley. Kyle Richard Wright. Ryan Michael McKenzie. Megan Elisa Martin. Listen, James Joseph Conley Norbert. Brooke Taylor Murphy. Connor Ellis Maloney. Stephen Joseph Martinez. Andrew James Martin. Jana Kathleen Malo. Nicholas Charles Lobeck. Rachel Erin Leyburn. Ryan Barry Lewis. Congratulations, Ryan. Devin Albert Lewis. Stephanie Marie Lefebvre. Bailey Nicole Leisure. Felicia Nicole LaChance. Hannah Judith Cordekamp. Justin Michael Jernigan. Matthew Christopher Hagberg. Mary Caitlin Griggs. Austin Michael Whalen. Carice Louise Welsh. Travis Lee Tolkien. Sierra Elizabeth Thorpe. Lindsey Marie Talbot. Taylor Shantae Sutherland. Carlin Joy St. Germain. Rachel Anna Smith. Nicholas Edward Smart. Matthew Arthur Sarah. Lauren J. Robinson. Jeremy Samuel Raymond. Eric Joseph Prisbilla. Alan David Provost. Tyler Michael Podworski. Montana Avery Phipps. James Tyler Peterson. James Michael Perry. Hi, Sam. Nathan James Paulus. Haley Nicole Pacocha. Congratulations, class of 2014.
Will the marshals now sit the senior class? I have the distinct honor of calling upon the president of the class of 2014, Melanie Griswold, who will offer some closing remarks.
Bring this down. Okay, whatever. Good evening, everyone. Behind me is a group of people whom I've known for a very long time. It's unreal to me that this is the day that my class, the class of 2014, is finally graduating. Since freshman year, I think we've all been waiting for this day to graduate so that we could get on with our lives outside of high school. It seems like just yesterday we were talking about all our goals for our future. The golden question we were always asked when we were younger was, so what do you want to be when you grow up? Many of us had an answer because it was simple. We didn't really know about all the roadblocks that could get in the way of those dreams. We would all answer with, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a firefighter. Or I want to be an astronaut. Any of the careers or type of people we wanted to become seemed possible. Now, however, it's the time when we really need to ask ourselves, what do I want to do with my life? Our answers now will be much different because now it's so real. I'm sure most of my fellow classmates once had a vision for their future that now is diminished or changed due to various circumstances. I encourage my friends and classmates to revisit that dream they once had or think of a new dream and hold on to it. The key is to never give up, no matter how tough something may be. I've learned a great deal throughout my years of high school, and the most important thing I learned, that each and every one of us has a purpose in this world. No aspiration is out of reach. A line from the book The Alchemist by Paul Coelho is pertinent to this message. People are afraid to pursue their dreams because they feel they don't deserve them or they'll be unable to achieve them. We've all been through hard times. We've all been victims of other people's mistakes and also of our own mistakes. But the good part about life is it is full of second chances. We all have a path and a plan for our future. The only thing we have to do is set out and make it happen. Sometimes we feel stuck as the person we are right in the moment, but we can change and start our life over at any point. There is no mistake we can't move forward from, no roadblock that we can't overcome, and no dream we can't pursue. In a real-life story titled The Power of Determination, a boy had a job of coming into school early each day to start and warm the classroom before his teachers and classmates arrived. One morning, this little boy's life changed forever. As a fire engulfed the schoolhouse in flames, the boy was dragged out unconscious, close to death. The doctor told his parents their son was surely not going to survive because of the severity of the injuries damaging the lower half of his body. The boy heard this and made up his mind that he would survive. With that single thought to everyone's surprise, the boy lived. Once again, the doctor had bad news for the parents, relaying that their son would remain a cripple for the rest of his life. The boy heard this as well and made up his mind that he would not be a cripple. This brave boy was determined to defy all the odds, even with no motor ability. He began by trying to first get feeling in his legs again through daily massages. Then he began slowly building strength by throwing himself from his wheelchair, dragging himself across the lawn. And after great effort, he could eventually raise himself up on his own and walk along the perimeter of the yard, using the picket fence for support. Through daily exercises, persistence, and determination, he developed the ability to not only stand up and not only walk, but to run as well. This young man, Dr. Glenn Cunningham, who was not expected to survive, who would never walk, who could never hope to run, set the record for the world's fastest mile. This story is about not giving up, even when giving up seems the easiest option. It's about defying the odds, because easy doesn't always equate to the best. And most importantly, it's about having faith in yourself and your dreams to know that anything is possible. When tonight's ceremony is over, I encourage each and every one of you to walk out of here with a future plan, to move on from whatever has been holding you back, and move forward to become the best version of you can be, and make a difference not only in your life, but others as well. We are all unique and destined to do different things and important things in life, and that's what makes the world interesting. Don't be afraid to strive for your highest dreams. And don't be afraid of failure, because what's the worst that can happen? Nothing ever really turns out how we may have planned for it, but you never know what's in store. Always stay true to yourself, hopeful in your dreams, and be passionate in all you do. Many years from now, I hope we can all look back and reflect on our life knowing we sought out every opportunity to live a life of purpose and a life worth living. I never thought I would become so close to so many people sitting behind me. Each one of you has made me the person I am today in some way, and I'm so grateful for the lasting memories I will hold in my heart forever. I wish you all the best, class of 2014.
Now please stand as the class of 2014 recesses. I invite the audience to congratulate the graduates. I wish everyone in attendance best wishes. Congratulations, graduates. Congratulations, parents and families. And congratulations, faculty and staff of the Monson Public Schools. Take care and have a great night.